Hi there, this is a PHP tutorial on how to use the date function to display the date and the time. I'm going to be covering these three points here. The first one being how to use the date function to display date and time, that I've already explained. The second one is how to show future and past dates or the time. And the third one is to create a countdown script to a specific date or a specific time. And I'm going to be doing that to a specific date, and I'll leave it up to you to do the time one of that from what you've learned. Okay, now the date function takes this form. We're going to be using the date function for the date and the time. So there is such thing as the time function, but in this tutorial I'm going to be using date to represent the date and the time. Now if I was to echo out the date being, now inside here there are specific components you need to use to make up your date. Now for example, if I was going to display the date, I would use D for day, I would use M for month, and I would use Y for year, sorry. Now these are all shorthand notation. If we go onto our page here, we can see that we've got the 17th of the second month and 2009. Now if I was to say put a capital Y, a capital M and a capital D, we can see that this has changed to a non-numerical version, well except for the year, and it's been displayed in a completely different way altogether. There are literally, probably I'd say, a good 100 ways of displaying different components of your date in different ways. So if you check out the PHP official documentation for that, you'll be able to see all of these. It's going to be too long to cover in this tutorial. Okay, so now we've got our date, our month and our year, our day, our month and our year. We can use separators however we want. So for example, I'm going to be using hyphen separators to separate this, and our date is going to look like that, and that is the current date. Now for the time, let's just get rid of that for now. I am going to say echo out, and again using the date function like I mentioned before, and I'm going to say hours. I'm going to use I for minutes and S for seconds. Now again, if I put capital H, this would use 24-hour format. A small h uses 12-hour format. So I'm going to use 12-hour format. So let's refresh this, and we can see that the time is 32 minutes plus 4, and that's 4 seconds. As we refresh, we can see that the seconds move upwards. Okay, so I'm going to use some colons to separate these, and we can see that that's given us a nice little date time there. Okay, so you can see how to use that function. Remember that these components inside can change. Like, let me just give you an example. If, again, like I said, change the H to a capital H, we can see that the 4 is going to change to 16, which is 24-hour format. So I'm going to keep that as small h for now. Okay, we've covered the first point. Now the second point is how to show a future and past date and or time. Now the way to do that is to create an offset value, and this is using the function str to time. Now str to time does exactly what it says on the tin. It converts a string to the time. Now this can be plus, say, 2 weeks, it could be minus 2 weeks, it could be plus 2 hours, and so on. So for example, if I was to keep my offset here, and I was to take, say, my date function down here, I'm going to add another parameter inside here, which is going to be my offset. Now what this will basically do is it will take the current date here, and it will apply this offset of plus 2 hours, which I'm now going to change to weeks, corresponding to the fact I'm displaying a date. Now if I, for example, I'll take it down to 1, and I refresh, we can see that it's displaying the 24th. Now the actual date is the 17th. Now I can prove this by taking away this offset, and you can see that it's actually the 17th. So what we've done is we've added a week onto our time. Even though we've written it in this sort of string format, it has converted it, as this function does, to time. So I can say plus 2 weeks and refresh that, and I get the 3rd of the next month. And in fact I could say plus 12 weeks. And I get a even bigger jump there. So we can apply this to time as well. If I just make some adjustments here, I'm going to say plus 1 hours, It's always best to keep it as hours. I mean, if you're saying hour, it would work, but we'll keep that as that for now. We're going to say our hour, our minute, and our seconds, and we're applying our offset to this, so we're having a jump of 1 hour into the future. If I take away this offset for now, we can see that, as before, the time is 4:34, and when I put my offset back in, which is the value of this, you can see that we'll now get 5:34. Okay, so this also can go back in time, so minus 1 hours would be 3:35, or as it's just changed, the minute's just gone up, and it can be a decrease of, say, 2 hours, and so on, and you can use this minus sign with the date as well. Okay, so let's create a little program that's going to echo out to us the date and the time. So my initial string is going to be, problem with my keyboard here. Right, my initial string is going to be, the time is, and I'm going to say time, and the date is, and I'm going to say date. Now if I bring my date back in here, and I also copy and paste this because it's quite a similar structure, and I'm going to create my time inside here. Let's say hours. Oh, sorry, this is my date. Oh, yeah, right. Let's get back on track. Right, days and month and year. Okay, so these need to be variables, so I'm going to say my date is equal to that, and I'm going to say my time is equal to that. So this will give us out the date and the time. Let's go back here and refresh, and we can see that the time is this and the date is this. So we've got this both in shorthand notation. Now what I might want to do is create an offset. Now what I'm going to do, and what I haven't shown you so far, is how to combine your offset into 2 into 1 and apply this to both the date and the time. So what I might say is the time is this time and the date is this date. What I want to do is I want to say plus let's say 2 weeks, or say 1 week, and let's go for 1 hour. So plus a week and plus an hour. Now I have to apply these both to each function I use, and refreshing this will give an hour ahead and a week ahead. So really we've combined it into the same offset using this function, and we've applied it to both our date and our time, and this is being displayed to the user. So that's basically the first 2 points covered: how to use the date function and how to show future and past dates. And in the next part I'm going to show you how to create a very simple countdown script, and that will basically count down to a date you specify from the current time and date. We're just going to be handling that using the time for now, because if I was using the date I would have to wait, say, a day to show you the result, which I'm sure you don't want to do, as I don't want to. So join me in the next part and I'll show you how to create a basic countdown script. Okay, thanks for watching.